Hey, Jeff, do you know what type of podcast we are?
Well, we're not a history podcast.
That's correct. We're a comedy podcast. So any jokes, skits, or anything else we say is not reflective of our organizations, businesses, or any sponsors that we're associated with, even charities. So remind yourself, if you're offended, it's okay. It's just a joke.
Comic books, movies, growing up with Rokusuki. Superman before Zack Snyder ruined him. Michael Keaton was the best Batman, while Christian Bale was just deadpan. No one remembers the other ones. Princess Leia in bikinis and Transformer Lamborghinis. Please don't let Shia LaBeouf ever act again.
Please, God, no.
Remembering tales from the crypt, back when Michael Bay wrote good scripts.
He wrote the
All
scripts.
right here is no mystery. It's the history of bad.
It's bad.
It's the history of bad.
So bad.
It's the history of bad ideas. It's the history of bad.
It's bad.
It's the history of bad.
So bad.
It's the history of bad ideas.
Podcast.
Welcome to the History of Bad Ideas, episode 581. I'm Jim. I'm Jeff.
I'm Brian.
And with us here on site at the Scam Jeff studio is Jeff Morris.
Hello.
Hello. I think we like to call it the game room. The game room. There's only a few games around us.
I think the last time we counted there was around 500, but I'm not certain. That counts expansions and things like that, but
Well, does that count like every D&D book?
it does not. D&D I counted as one, although there are actual D&D board games that are separate. Like what's the worker placement? It's right down
Helms
there.
of Waterdeep?
Waterdeep. It's something Waterdeep. But yeah,
Oh, you're going to make me turn around.
bottom right, I think. But
You know, without my glasses on, I can't read a damn thing over that far away.
I'm sure that what a great way to start the
Lords of Waterdeep.
So yes, I count that separately from D&D.
Well, that is separate from D&D. Of the 500 games in here, which is your favorite?
Terraforming Mars, without a doubt. Although Tapestry is a close second there, and I really like Wingspan
Okay.
as well. So those are definitely my top three.
I enjoy those games, too. I will definitely put Terraforming Mars at my number one also.
I just recently played with all of the expansions. It took about 7 hours.
Oh, wow.
And that's without Jeff, who really looks at all his cards and thinks of every possible. He's very, very good at the game.
He's saying I take too long on my turn.
You do take a long time.
Well, I got a lot to do. I plan everything out.
We should play it once with one of the chess timer things where you have to hit it, and then if you run out of time, you're out.
Just out, or you just have to pass that
Okay.
round, or
you have to pass the round until everybody else is out.
nice.
So, okay, so we'll do that from now on.
Oh, you guys do all the stuff you want to do, and I'll just wait till the end. How's that?
I still think you'd beat us. Although I think that Jen beat you last time, right?
I know she beat me the one time when it came down to the tiebreakers, and she had the most money. And I remember after that time, I changed how I played the game. I thought, if Jen's going to beat me like that, I won't ever let that happen again. So don't let me take money, because that's the key.
We'll find a way just to take his money from him.
I always went for Plants. I know this is boring for anybody who's never played it, but you're trying to terraform Mars, so I go for plants. But then when I played with everything, I went a completely different strategy.
No, when I first started, I think I went with energy because that's the one that seemed coolest to me, and I guess maybe starting cards really went that way. So it's like first time I played, it was like I'm going that way, and then I went that way for like the next 4 or 5 times I played until it was like bad draw cards, and I was shit. So that, and like I avoided all the animals and microbes or whatever you call them. And these just get in the way. Why the hell are these cards even in here? But then I learned to appreciate them. There is some cards in there that is an unstoppable combo if you get them all.
I never liked energy until I started playing with colonies, and like energy actually helps with colonies, but I feel that this is like when everybody's talking about sports and I'm just sitting there doing nothing. We're talking about terraforming Mars. So.
Yeah, what sounds cooler? Terraforming Mars or a bunch of people hitting each other? Silly boxing.
Well, the good news is the NFL season is over, and we don't have to worry about any more games.
I thought Taylor Swift still had a game.
Oh, I'm not watching anymore.
Oh, okay.
I'm rooting for Bane.
I don't want to. Since it's in New Orleans, I don't want to kill the fans down there because, again, they're not associated with the 2 teams that are left.
Wow.
For the most part.
So did I get that reference? It's from the Dark Knight Rises,
yes.
where Bane destroys the. Okay.
So we can discuss what we watched this week, and we can concentrate a lot on the Oscars since we're here with our Oscar expert. How many movies have you seen so far that have been nominated, Jeff?
I don't know. I know I've seen 6 of the Best Picture nominees out of the 10. And I'm pretty sure that every single one of them has something to do with being transgender, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I'm not sure that that's
too much of a glut of an idea.
I don't know. Amelia Perez.
Yeah, Amelia Perez, and we knew
when I try not to watch trailers. I try not to read what the movies are about. I try to go into them completely blind. So I was blindsided by both Amelia Perez and Conclave, which were both spoilers, very much about transgender, which isn't necessarily bad, but. And I don't think that it took anything away from Amelia Perez. I'm not sure it took anything away from Conclave, but I'm not sure that they. And let me look at the other ones. Substance. That was a horror movie about Demi Moore wanting to be a younger version of herself. So she takes the substance, which makes her into that, and then Wicked is about the Wicked Witch of the West having green skin, and
Dune Part
2
and A Complete Unknown, the ones you've seen.
Complete Unknown was a Bob Dylan thing. I'm not sure that had anything to do with transgender or anything, but it was a good biopic. I think it was better than what was the one with Elton John.
Rocket Man,
and then there was the
Freddie Mercury.
Yeah, the Queen one. I forget the name of that one, which was good. Bohemian Rhapsody. Complete Unknown. I thought was good. The Edward Norton plays. I forget who he plays, but the last name of the person that he plays. I got to look that up real quick because I made a fool of myself when I was talking about him. But He plays a singer who I thought was someone who he wasn't. He was a folk singer. Who does he play?
Trying to pull it up right here. Let's see.
But regardless, I thought it was the famous version that he was not. And I know I'm being boring, but the only way I know how to look up things is to ask it out loud. And
it'd be good if I went to the right Ed Norton. There's Ed Norton, who's like on IMDb, just Ed Norton, who's a cinematographer. So yeah, he was not on any of the.
Like there's a Jeff Morris who's an actor, and then there's a Jeff Morris who's a writer.
Yep, he plays Pete Seeger.
Pete Seeger. I thought it was Bob Seger. So I'm like, Bob Seger. He plays Bob Seger. I didn't even know that Bob Dylan and Bob Seger were together at any
The two
point.
Bobs.
But I was listening to Bob Seger music, getting prepared, and then it was Pete Seeger, and I'm like, oh, I'm not sure who this guy is until he started singing his songs. But Seeger is not a common last name, right?
No, not like Morris.
Exactly.
I mean, it's common enough, but yeah.
That if there's a biopic about Bob Dylan and his famous singer friend Seeger with the last name Seeger, and you didn't know any better, you might think Bob Seeger.
The timing is off, I think. Bob Seger's a little later than where Pete Seeger is a folk musician. So
They're just kind of different genre type.
yeah.
I just don't know Pete Seeger. Yes, I was embarrassed when I realized my mistake.
Well, did you say it to other people? I mean, if you just made the
just
mistake.
to my wife.
Oh, well.
And to all of our listeners now.
Well,
Well, this is secret, right?
Oh yeah, we're not. This will get deleted anyway.
Yeah, that's what happened last time.
ow. I mean, yes, I still have fat fingers, but I think we're going to be safe this time.
So Timothy Chalamet is in two of these movies with Complete Unknown and Dune. Was he good in both? He's not nominated. Is he nominated for anything?
He was Complete Unknown, and he
Okay.
deserves it. He was very good in Complete Unknown. But it seems like Bob Dylan's kind of an asshole.
Yeah, a lot of people got that from that movie.
Although when what was that documentary about We Are the World that he was in? He did not seem like an asshole. He seemed like he was very down to earth. What was that documentary called? But it was about the Greatest Night in Pop.
Something, yeah. Well, they did the making of We Are the World.
But that's what I think of a lot when I think of Bob Dylan, was that scene where he couldn't sing We Are the World in his own voice because he was trying to sing like everybody else, and then Stevie Wonder's like, here, this is how you sing things, and then he sang like Bob Dylan, and then Bob Dylan got it and he sang it like that, and I like that. So all of the animated features except for one, I think, are foreign films, which is fascinating. And I think that the best film that I've seen so far this year is Flow, which is an animated Latvian film with no dialogue.
Not a Serbian film.
No, I don't know. If you ask me where Latvia is, I'm not sure I can name the continent. I would guess somewhere between Eastern Europe and Western Asia.
Definitely Eastern Europe. Between Estonia and Lithuania.
Well, the last time I really took a test on geography was in the late 80s, where it was Soviet Union, I feel.
Yeah, it might have been considered USSR at the time.
So it's definitely Eastern Europe and not like right there at the line between like Kazakhstan and...
No, it's Poland, just east of Poland. And Poland is right next to Germany.
Well, yeah. So is it like... Yeah, okay. I don't need any more geography. I think I got it.
If you want to learn this stuff, Sporkle quizzes. Just go there and rote memorization of where countries are.
Well, I did that, and I was very good at it, and then the USSR broke up.
I don't think Sporkle was around then.
Well, I studied the maps and the globes and stuff.
I noticed, well, I'm looking at your wife's list of what she's seen. I don't know if you are any different, but I noticed the only animated feature she has not seen yet is the only one Jason keeps talking about, The Wild Robot.
That's the one that I have not seen yet either. Flow is very good. Memoir of a Snail is a really fucked up Australian film.
All right.
There's Swingers, which I'm pretty familiar with.
Swingers, isn't that Jason's Neighborhood?
Yes, apparently they do the pineapple dance there.
Okay.
Wallace and Gromit was funny.
Now, is it better than any other Wallace and Gromit movie?
I wouldn't. I wouldn't say
not really
so.
Worth an Oscar.
I think that they keep trying every year. Like it's always in the the running.
Yeah, they've been nominated a few times.
They've been nominated, but they've never won one. Is this one? I'm just saying, is this one better than the previous one?
Curse of the Were-Rabbit.
Or the Wrong Trousers.
I haven't seen Wild Robot, but of the other four, Flow is way, way above and beyond. And it's better, not way, way above and beyond, than any other film that I've seen so far this year. I did not like Wicked. I don't like half movies.
I agree with that. It's like it's tough to say, oh, it's the best movie when you haven't even seen the end of it, and then when the second half comes out, I'm only judging it on the second half of the movie. So the first half, that's when Lord of the Rings: Return of the King won all the awards, and I'm like, well, it wasn't even the best Lord of the Rings movie. And everyone's like, oh, yeah, but it wins the awards because of the whole trilogy. I'm like, but no. Because the Fellowship was so good doesn't mean Return of the King should be winning awards.
I think that Fellowship could have stood by itself, even though it didn't finish the story. I feel that
it had a logical ending point. Like, it was the breaking up of the Fellowship. So once the Fellowship broke up, it's okay. Granted, the story's going on, and
Return of the King had 6 endings.
Well, that's true. It ended 6 different times.
Oh, wait, it's not over yet? Oh, okay. Wait, it's not over yet? Oh. 35 minutes later. It's not over yet.
And today I did just see the final movie that I hadn't seen from the 2013 Oscars.
What movie was that?
It was a robot movie, Robot Dreams. It wasn't released until July of 2024 in America.
Now, did you mean 2023 or did you mean 2013?
2023. Oh, did I say 2013?
You said 2013. I was wondering why 11, 12 years later.
I meant 2023.
Okay. 2 years later.
Brian, did you watch anything this week? Since Jason always skips over you, we're going to go right to you here.
I did. Let's see. I'm caught up on The Rookie.
Okay.
The new season of The Rookie.
How's Nathan Fillion?
He's still shooting people every episode.
I don't want to use my gun. I don't like it. But he shoots somebody every week.
Episode. Yeah, it's good. It's... They haven't really let up, and there's not really any kind of a downfall that I've seen from so far this season. I've been expecting one from shows that run 7, 10 seasons.
Yeah, you expect a down year,
but
and
I don't really feel like they've ever really experienced that, and I've been anticipating it.
I do like the cast. I think they've done a good job building them up, and
for sure. What else did I watch this week? Dr. Dana and I went and saw Flight Risk.
Okay, the Mel Gibson.
Mark Wahlberg.
movie.
Topher Grace.
Yep.
Yeah.
Was it good? I've only seen the trailers on my games on my phone that doesn't have volume, so I've just seen the visuals of it, and it doesn't look good.
It is
It looks
not.
claustrophobic, I guess.
Not even that. It's just no, it's not good. Like the character that Wahlberg plays, like it's very predictable because like the premise is that Topher Grace is a witness who the marshals hunt down because he's a flight risk. So they find him in Alaska and they have to fly him to like Seattle. And immediately, like, they're on a little, puddle jumper. So it's a marshal, him, and then the pilot. So, like, what's going to happen. Like, the pilot is obviously the bad guy.
Yep.
Like, it's, pretty, and, like, just the character he plays is, like, really, like, he's just the stupid, like, accent that he has, and, like, just to try to throw him off. And then, I don't know. It's just. It was just bad. It was just bad. Like, spoiler alert, the coolest part of the movie is when he dies at the end. Like, we just kind of looked at each other. We're like, yeah, finally. Like,
So you don't think we'll be talking about this next year for Oscar talk?
maybe for the Razzies. I mean, Topher Grace was funny, but he was himself, like, and he is in everything that he's in, like that little, like, cheeky, like, smart ass, like,
Eric Foreman.
yeah, like, that's exactly who he plays in this. So yeah,
Has there ever been a movie released in January that was up for an Oscar?
Ooh, that's something that Jeff will have to look up.
Because I think that this is when they say that they just release the movies that they're not.
Yeah, it's kind
They're not
of
gonna
let's
do the
release some
Oscars.
action films and some stuff that's been on the shelf for a couple of years.
2 winners.
Two winners.
Oliver and Midnight Cowboy.
Midnight Cowboy was a
January release.
January release.
Also The Exorcist.
Huh.
Oh. Other movies that have been nominated for... Okay. Now I got to double check Google here.
Oh, so
Well, then it's like in other movies, and I'm like, okay, I know Lord of the Rings: Return of the King was not released in January. So
yeah, we were working at a movie theater when that was released.
And Titanic, I think, was a summer release, so that was not. But it did say, yes, movies have been in January have been nominated, and then explanation, and then lists 3 movies. All right, I will get more information on that.
I feel that was a poor bit of information. I think that was false news.
Fake news. Hobie is fake news.
So I saw. So what's your favorite boxing movie that's not a Rocky movie? Because I just saw Cinderella Man recently and $1 Million Baby.
The Fighter.
The Fighter.
Oh, the Fighter is spectacular.
Raging Bull.
Raging Bull was going to be. Yep, that's what I was.
So Raging
Yep.
Bull.
Yep.
I like the Fighter better than Raging Bull.
I think I do like the Fighter better too, but they're both.
Yeah, I think.
What David O. Russell does is like everybody's talking over each other, and it doesn't seem like everybody's talking over each other. And in every single one of his movies, he does it. And the Fighter, he does it just as well.
And Melissa Leo was absolutely fantastic playing his mother in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't really. It doesn't really feel like a boxing movie though, because there's not really boxing scenes in that as much as
It's not about boxing. It's
Like
about
Cinderella Man
It's about
or-
a boxer.
right.
Yeah.
Not a really good film or anything, but Southpaw is another one that I really like with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Gladiators with Cuba Gooding Jr.
Oh yeah,
and Brian Dennehy.
yeah.
Top of the head, hardest part of the body.
And that's what they were going to name Gladiator 2, but it was already taken.
I just have a probably $1 Million Baby just with Jay Baruchel. Wasn't
I don't know.
Wasn't he Danger? Yeah. the bucket, the guy who worked at the special needs kid who worked at the gym.
Yeah, Jay Baruchel is Danger.
Yeah, they could have just did without that character in that movie, I think.
I liked Danger.
Okay.
And I feel that there may have been some symbolic behind him, but I don't know.
He's much better in Goon. That's not about boxing. That's about hockey fighting. But
I thought you said Dune.
Goon. Oh. So, what's your favorite Rocky film, Jeff?
We do this every time that we're here.
It's Rocky 1 by far, but Rocky 4 is... That robot is just ponderous.
I mean, Paulie needed a friend. Rocky had money. I mean, it's just what happens.
They focused way too much on that robot. He was real proud. That you could tell that the director was real proud that he had a robot in his film.
Yeah.
And when I first saw it in the 80s or whatever, it did not faze me at all. I'm like, this is normal. We are now in the future. We have a robot. But now, I guess it didn't age. The robot did not age well.
Yeah, it did not.
I didn't think it aged well after about a month.
Well, how old was I? When did Rocky 4 come out? Because I feel that I saw it pretty close to then.
83?
Oh, then I would not have
No,
seen it anywhere close to then.
I thought it was more like 86.
I was going to say 89 for some reason.
Same year as E.T.
Only if those devices
Was it really?
figured out.
I would not have guessed the same year as E.T.
85.
85.
So I would have been 7. So I probably saw it at a
3.
later time.
I'm sorry, I thought we were talking about Rocky 3. Yeah, Rocky 4 is a little later than I was saying. I forgot we weren't talking about one of the good Rocky movies.
We were talking about the robot in Rocky 4.
Oh, okay. So, wait, a little fun silence there.
Yeah. No, I'm just going to say I looked it up, and yeah, those movies I mentioned before were not released in January. May was the earliest of those released.
Okay.
I think Google AI, I didn't realize it was AI responding to me on that question. So Google AI sucks, because the whole point is you're supposed to look out, read the information, and bring it to me. You did not do that, so you suck as a search engine.
I'm disliking AI more and more. If I used to be a teacher that taught writing, and I can't even imagine how difficult, because I've caught people. I looked up on the internet that people just copied things from the internet, and I caught them cheating and gave them Fs or whatever. I can't imagine trying to do that now with the...
I need to write a paper, so Google, write my paper.
Well, you catch them with all the errors it makes, because it still is making shit ton of errors.
Well, you've clearly never taught at a community college.
Oh, you're right. I
And
haven't.
They make a lot of errors too, and they're not fun errors or too many fingers on the left hand errors. They what
are-
sounds right in their head
They
doesn't
are-
necessarily sound right to everybody else.
Oliver was released in January errors.
Well, you sounded very confident when you said that, so I believed you when you said that, and I was. Did you find any that were actually released in January?
I have not. I'm sure there is something, but well, and then again, part of it is a lot of them are released wider in January, but they get that December 31st release.
Yeah, the
date.
initial Christmas release the week of.
So there's a lot that do come out in January for us that have been in LA or New York already.
Well, I brought some candy and
we have a taste test.
a taste test. We have 3 different types of
Conversation hearts.
conversation hearts.
So
Kicking off the Valentine's season.
Exactly.
On
This
Hobie.
is the first February episode, right?
Yep. I let the Reese. I didn't bring them. I bought them, and I think myself and my mom made Oliver's at our house. We had the Kisses with like the cherry
Oh, yeah.
cream inside. They were fantastic.
They sound good. Were they
And
shaped like hearts?
No, they were Hershey's had some shaped like hearts. Or they had different hearts, and then they had Kisses too. They had both.
Oh. I thought you said Reese's, not Hershey's.
No, Hershey's, yeah.
I was going to say, if they were Reese Hearts and they didn't look like it, you should sue.
The Reese Hearts, they were peanut butter, not the. I had some of those too.
Okay.
Okay, my son's here. He's going to taste test with us. So we have Sweet Tarts, Sweet Hearts, the original, they say,
So they say.
And then the Brock's conversation
and then
hearts.
Brock's. That's if I remember correctly, they taste just like Tums.
Yes. Okay, I'm going to do the original Sweetheart, and mine says, never ever. Okay, I just got turned down.
You just got turned around.
Mine says move on.
Mine says Rave Night.
I've got one that says Gal Pal, one that says Dream, and 2 that say Love.
I have XOXO and Nice.
Mine say, be mine, call me, and yes.
Damn, we know who's getting all the action this Valentine's Day.
Okay, so I'm guessing Sweet Tarts is definitely going to taste best.
Probably.
So I'm going to start with which one's Brock's? The larger, flatter one or the taller?
Thicker ones, Brock's. Oh, no. Brock's are the thinner ones.
Okay.
Yeah. So Brock's are the thinner ones. I started with the Sweethearts one. It's sugar, chalk.
Okay. So
My-
the flatter one is Brock's.
My Brock's one says,
I thought it said drill me for a second. It says call me.
Okay, conversation hearts.
my Brock's conversation heart just says LYMY.
I don't know what that means.
I mean, me neither.
LYMY.
Could it be some sort of texting abbreviation?
Cohen would know that.
Love you, miss.
Love you, miss you.
My Brock's one says Oz. It has 3 A's and an S. This doesn't bode well for my love life, I don't think.
This one says nice.
So what was the
Nice.
flatter one?
That one's Brock's, yeah.
It does taste a lot like Tums, which isn't bad.
Better than Necco wafers. I'm going to pass this one around so if someone can tell me what this is supposed to say.
It's not even shaped like a heart. It looks like
A reject.
it looks like it has the face from like a Mexican wrestler mask on there.
A luchador mask. Yeah, that's just color stain.
And my other one just says bear. It says bear. I guess it was meant for me.
That is an unusual
Okay, I'm going to try
conversation art.
I'm going to try the Brock's one now.
Can someone pass me these sweet tarts?
Yeah, they're not quick to eat, so you can move on to the next.
That
Right.
one, it's a little sweeter, I think, than the Sweethearts one.
Which one?
The Brock's one.
Yeah, Brock's are a little sweeter than the Sweethearts. The Sweethearts are very chalky and hard to eat. Where the Brock's are a little bit better and I feel like higher in sugar.
And sweet tarts are the best.
Sweet tart just tastes like Smarties.
I'm waiting till the end because I know I like them better. So
Yeah, that's what I'm saving as well.
Thank you, Sweethearts. This one says love you. Man, I needed that after the other ones.
okay, yeah, these Sweetheart ones, they are tasting like Necco wafers, where at least the Brock's have some sugar in them.
I thought Necco actually made them originally, but
The box for Sweethearts clearly says the original.
and it's made by
Oh, yeah, is there a...
Spangler in Bryan, Ohio. Spelled
You're welcome.
Bryan.
Yeah. You're welcome.
And Spangler did make Necco wafers.
Didn't he also make Ghostbusters?
Egon
Wasn't that the director of Ghostbusters?
Spangler.
Spangler was one of the characters.
Well, right, but the actor who played it, wasn't
No.
that the director?
No,
He
Ivan
didn't direct that.
Reitman
Ivan Reitman
directed.
directed. He directed other things.
Did he
Harold Ramis.
Caddyshack?
Yeah, Caddyshack. Harold Ramis.
What was your favorite, Con?
Which one's these ones? What are these ones?
The Sweethearts.
I feel like the Sweethearts tasted the best. Like they tasted the best, but they were impossible. But the Sweethearts tasted the best, but they were impossible to chew. Like I couldn't chew through them. And the Sweet Tarts, they just tasted like Smarties.
I haven't tried the Sweet Tart one yet.
Sweet tarts taste like sweet tarts. These are just shaped like hearts with words on them.
Mine doesn't have words. It has XOXO.
Okay, letters on them. Mine has love, then the letter U. And then I had a yes and a maybe, but I ate those.
Yeah, the Sweet Tart are definitely more tart, as in the name.
I see.
It's sweet and tart. Oh, that's how they got the name. Okay.
It's in the name. But sweethearts, no. They aren't sweet. They are the farthest from sweet.
I cannot get through the Sweetheart because I can't chew it or I'll break my teeth. So I just have to suck on it until I can get my reward with my Sweet Tart, is what I feel.
How were your Sweet Tarts there, Brian?
Oh, they were delightful. They were by far the best of the three, in my opinion. But again, like, they're just sweet tarts with words on them, so they were good.
What was the best words that you had on the
I'm still gonna go with LYMY. I didn't get anything out of the rest. Were just sweet, cutie.
This one's supposed to say bestie, but it didn't quite make it onto it, so it just says best, and then maybe part of an I.
I think this one says totes.
All right, my Notepad app on my phone now is showing me commercials. It's where I usually like write down my thoughts and stuff if I don't have pens and papers, like when we're trying to think of titles for the show or whatnot. So I quickly went to bring up the thing so I can write down a title idea, and I have to sit through commercials. So I think I will be getting rid of this app.
I use Samsung Notes, and it doesn't give me commercials.
I am under contract to do a second edition of the Cincinnati Haunted Handbook. And last night at, I think, 3 a.m, I kind of half woke up and I came up with a really good thing to put for the dedication. Mm-hmm. And then I was going to fall back asleep. And I'm like, no, I won't remember this in the morning. So I texted Jen and didn't send it yet, so that when I woke up tomorrow I could read it and then I could actually write it down. So that's my notepad. Yeah, I watched you pour sugar all over the board.
Well, if the board shorts out because there's sugar all in it.
Yeah, I don't think that's sugar. I just think it's like chalk dust.
So if you were having some heartburn,
have some Brock's.
Yeah, or I think the Sweethearts would probably do better for the heartburn.
Yeah, the Sweet Tarts are the best.
Brock's is halfway in between.
And then the Sweet Tarts, eventually, after you suck on it for a little bit, you can chew it. It will break down. Unlike the other two, I think they just
dissolve.
They almost like get denser.
When I went to the store to get these, Cohen drove me.
We're not that old, are we?
And I try to do that every Tuesday, but it is the most terrifying thing that you can possibly imagine. Not that he's a bad driver. Not anything. It's just, it freaks me out when Jen drives or my mom drives or even my dad drives nowadays. Not back in the day, but nowadays but yeah.
Do you get motion sick at all when somebody else is driving?
I do.
Okay.
I get motion sick no matter what, pretty much, except when I'm driving. So that's the only reason I'm not good at flying, is because I get motion sick.
Because because they don't let you fly the plane.
And even if they did, I'm not sure that it would help. Because the window, you can't really see out that window from what I've seen, right? If you're the pilot of a plane, the window just seems too high. The nose is in the way.
Well, I mean, you can see out it. It's just what you can see out of it is sky, usually.
Yeah, so you'll have to dip your nose down way far to see the ground.
You don't see the... But then again, isn't that better? You don't see the ground, so it should make it much easier to operate, without getting sick. Because you won't get all the, I see this weird stuff going around, because there isn't much other than clouds and an occasional bird.
But I feel it's more about the control, and if I couldn't see the ground, it would just be, I'd have no aspect of, if I were flying straight up into the air or kind of, the Sweet Tarts actually break down a lot easier than the other two. Like if it's in your mouth for...
Oh, yeah, definitely.
For like 2 minutes, you just push your tongue against it, it just breaks into Tiny, flavorful
So
pieces.
everybody is on top for the sweet tarts. And the other
Not
two.
Cohen.
No, he's weird.
Well, I think that he came into it wanting to hate sweet tarts.
Yeah.
He was like, oh, this is just Smarties. It's not just Smarties.
It's not. Sweet Tarts and Smarties taste very different.
I concur.
Granted, I like Smarties better.
Sweet tarts are more tart. Than,
Yes.
And
And for our
little,
Canadian listeners, I think, what do they call Smarties? Because their Smarties are small little chocolate things. I think we call Rockets or something. Now I'm trying to remember what Canadians call Smarties, what we call Smarties.
So I have a friend of mine who comes into the bar. He works at a bank, and they always give out the Dum Dum suckers. So he thought, let's do different, and he brought in like bags of Smarties so you could choose between Dum Dums or Smarties. And then he could comment on what the people chose. And they didn't like that and told him to take them home. He's just trying to give candy out to customers. Brian, what's that on your hat? What type of hat is that?
It is a hat of the Cincinnati Comic Expo.
Oh, when is that?
I believe it's in October this year, maybe the 24th through the 26th.
Very nice.
At the Sharonville Convention Center.
Okay. And is there another expo at the Sharonville Convention Center, maybe sometime in May?
Yeah, we have the Super Cincy video game expo coming up in May. I want to say that's like the 13th to the 15th, 14th to the 16th.
Yeah, it's the third week of May.
Yeah, so Hobie will be at the Sharonville Convention Center several times this upcoming spring, summer, and fall.
Have they announced anybody other than Tom Welling yet for the?
He is the only one seen. I think I did read that they were trying to get Arby's as a sponsor.
Oh, okay.
That's an unconfirmed rumor that I've heard.
You need to have your Arby's. So,
I mean, the 5 for $5 deal is the greatest thing ever. I miss it.
I'm sad we don't have the 5 for $5 anymore.
I am too. I mean, I get it. I understand
Now we
why
get
they
like
do
2
it.
for $5.
Maybe 2 for $5.
What is your favorite sandwich at Arby's?
I always typically just go classic with the roast beef, but I do really like the turkey bacon ranch, like marketplace sandwich. But I typically just stay classic with the double roast beef.
Your favorite Arby's sandwich?
I walked up for a second and we're talking about Arby's.
Yeah, because we think that they might try and sponsor the Cincinnati Comic Expo with Tom Welling going to be there.
Nice.
I've always been a fan of Arby's. I usually go with the regular roast beef.
I will say Arby's at Thanksgiving time had a deep fried turkey. I guess they fried the turkey and then sliced it. That sandwich was really, really good.
They had good heroes at one, or they probably still do.
They had years. I wouldn't call them good.
I think that the hero meat one, I think that was reasonably good.
I think it was barely passable as a gyro, to be honest. Now, granted, Arby's sold the most gyros out of any other company, just because they're big and all other gyro places are small local things. But yeah, I would go beef and cheddar over usually a regular roast beef, though. I like the onion bun and the cheddar on my Arby's.
Sometimes I like to switch it up and go with the chicken. Was it the chicken bacon Swiss? It's like number 8. It was like number 8 on the value menu for a long time, but now they've changed it all up. I can barely recognize the menu anymore.
I think that was a high roller item, wasn't it? That was like $20 for the.
Not quite $20. It was like $5.89 for the sandwich, and then like
Didn't they have like a secret sandwich that was like $20? That was like the super roast beef, and it wasn't on the menu, but you had to order it or something like that.
I think that was like every meat they had, they would put on a sandwich or something. So there would be a chicken breast, there would be turkey, there would be something. I think they
Is
did
this
have
real or is this like a urban legend?
Oh, I have no clue. I've never had one, and I think like when you mentioned it, I think I remember hearing something about it, like an all the meats sandwich or something like that. But I'm not going to spend $20 at Arby's.
And like those things that you aren't quite sure if it's real or like those haunted houses where if you make it all the way through, they give it to you for free or give you like $1,000. Is that real or is that just something that they make up?
I've never been to one like that.
Well, nor have I, and I wouldn't even want to. Even for the reward, I wouldn't. I don't want to do that. I don't want people trying to scare me away.
Yeah, where you have to sign a waiver and they're allowed to like touch you and
Yeah.
Pass.
Nope. Don't like that.
Someone will get punched.
Yes. Yes.
So we're assuming that it's not true because somebody would get punched in that case, which is a totally reasonable argument for it.
Oh, someone would most definitely get punched. I mean, I just don't enjoy haunted houses at all. I mean, I think I went to one when I was a kid.
Boo.
Yeah, and it was
$8.
like, yeah, you walk into one room and there's and I'm like, okay. You walk into another room, like, I'm like, okay, what the?
You walk into another room.
But yeah, so as an adult, I have never even. I mean, I'd find better ways of spending my money, is what I feel.
But if they gave you money for making it through,
did I have to pay first?
You'd have to pay if you didn't make it through.
No. Especially, depending, if it's $1, maybe.
Like
if
the
it's like $20, no.
Like the urban legend is the way that they tell it is like, oh, the smells are so bad that people just can't make it through, or things like that. But I don't know. I still don't know if it's a urban myth or if it's real.
So, would you rather go to a real haunted house or pay for your money to go to a fake haunted house that people try and scare you? Since you are a scholar when it comes to hauntings.
I do enjoy going to the ones that are supposedly real, that have the history behind it and everything. Although one of the locations in the new book is the Dent Schoolhouse, which is a haunted house. But now they actually have something where they let people go in with their EMF detectors or whatever to actually look for ghosts, and they have the stories and everything. So that's one that kind of bridges the gap, I guess. I forgot what I was saying.
Oh, Jeff, do we have any music for listener feedback?
We never have music for listener feedback.
Listener feedback.
Brian, do we have any listener feedback?
Maybe. Hang on. Talk amongst
I just
yourselves.
did the music.
Yeah, that's why we're trying to.
We don't have an outline, so Jason went out of town, and
This is wild card episode.
he just doesn't do any work for the podcast when he goes out of town, apparently.
He's so fucking lazy.
I remember when you
Considering we
first,
don't do anything.
I remember when you first started doing the podcast, and then you were reading, I think it was from Twitter, and then they kept doing #LF, and then you were trying to figure out what that meant. Is it left field? It's probably left field because these are so random. And then eventually we figured out that it was listener feedback. And I think that was even discussed on the air.
It may have been. I don't remember necessarily. But yeah, my guess would have been left field. Because I was never big in the hashtag game. I was always behind.
Again, we got a bunch of stuff about the Royal Rumble, but we'll let Jason tackle that on his post-show or when he's here, so we don't have to talk about the Rumble much. I thought it was
So is professional wrestling now exclusively on streaming?
No. They Raw is on Netflix, but they still have, like, the SmackDown show is still on Fox, yeah,
I think. And then, I don't know when the pay-per-view switch over to Netflix, or if they do.
They might just still be on Peacock.
Yeah, that's because like I went on Netflix like waiting for the Rumble to start because I just assumed, and then like nothing, I couldn't find anything, and then I went to Peacock and it was like it was live, and I was like, that's weird, but I didn't know if they were doing the pay-per-views and Raw, or if it was just Raw.
Oh, I got a listener feedback here. This is from Doug.
Number one fan.
The Jewel of the Licking. Ape Hands.
7.
8-bit.
Beaver Hip.
Beaver Teeth.
Pass me a microphone and I don't even have anything to say. Einstein's Caviar.
Okay.
Einstein's Caviar.
I would say Doug.
Dad. Chili Billy. Yeah.
He messaged and wrote, I'm on the lookout for these. And it is the Progresso Soup Drops. Soup you can suck on. Progresso just turned chicken noodle soup into lozenges. Yes, soup drops are here, bringing cozy broth vibes in candy form. So would you like to have some soup drops?
That sounds
terrible.
I don't know. It's like if you have a sore throat is the reason that you take it, and soup goes well with that, but I'm not sure that candy form of soup is...
I think it would taste better than most cough drops I've had, though. I mean, most lozenges taste nasty. Granted, it's because it's medicine, and the medicine just tastes bad, so the medicine, they're trying, but the flavor they try to cover up the medicine doesn't make it any better. So I think I would rather suck on a chicken noodle ball of candy than, a very poor imitation cherry lozenge.
You don't like the Ludens?
No.
The Ludens are, that's just straight candy. That's what I grew up with.
Yeah, that's not really lozenges. They're candy.
Yeah, they're just strawberry flavored candy. I don't know. I always felt better after I had one of those or a box.
And then some more listener feedback we have from Pam's World at Pam's World. We wish her speedy recovery on her shoulder surgery she just had. So
yeah, hopefully it's speedy recovery, Pam.
She was just listening to our newest episode, and Jason asked her, why do Jim and Brian try to keep silencing him on Mad Libs? And she said, I noticed that, and I don't know why. That's so rude of them.
Wow. I think that's the first time anyone's ever came to Jason's defense and wanted to hear him talk like a 12-year-old child.
Well, we've played some games with Pam, and she tends to give those same answers.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, with Pam, if you play things like Cards Against Humanity, there are certain cards that you will just keep until it's Pam's turn and just give them to her whether it fits the card or not, because you'll probably win with those certain cards.
Yeah, just play bigger, blacker dick on Pam, and she loves it.
Yeah, just pretty much anything that takes a sex act and takes it to the extreme. The Pam will usually pick those.
The Incredible Gary, he'll lick your nipples.
I take it that was one of the the ones you remember.
That's the one that I remember.
Where Jeff over here, his like your best with him is pick something that is like just like a non sequitur that doesn't seem like it actually goes, and something to the juxtaposition of two opposing or not even opposing, two unrelated things is where Jeff finds the humor.
And well, Jeff
Very Dadaist.
and well, Jeff he has to get his where they have to make sense. It has to if it's talking about one thing, it has to follow. Like if it's talking about a female, it has to follow. We can't switch off and on, and tense matters to him.
Oh yeah, I mean the when you're reading the sentence, it has to make sense, and the closer you can find. Now I want humor involved, but the closer it matches to what's being asked, is you got a better chance of winning with me. I just know one of Jeff's favorites here is the fortuitous turnip harvest.
That's that and the Hamburglar are my two favorite. But fortuitous turnip harvest, that will win for me. I think I have yet to find one that fortuitous turnip harvest would not win for.
And then we have another one from Doug. He's done a few things. He said, "Who will be handling the impressions without Jason there?"
Where?
Here. Yeah.
I just want to watch you burn.
Tonight?
Yes.
Oh. I think no one. I think that's...
It will be me.
Apparently it's going to be, I think, everybody tonight. But now I'm going to see who can have the worst impressionation tonight.
So they're just imitating Jason.
Yes. We're actually not doing impressions of anybody. We're doing impressions of Jason. Doing impressions.
I think the only one that I can do is ha ha ha. So I'll do that with a ha 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 second date.
I will do Hunter McAllister. I am from Alabama. Roll Tide.
I'm probably going to start singing Cher with no lyrics whatsoever.
I'll just be taking the high road.
We should have started with this and just done the whole show just trying to do bad impression or do Jason worthy impressions.
It's like when people do impressions of like George Bush. They no longer do impressions of George Bush. They do impressions of Dana Carvey doing George Bush. 1,000 points of light.
Did you see the Saturday Night movie, or was that something that you discussed many shows ago?
I have not watched it. What I did watch, I've been watching now, is the 50 years of Saturday Night Live on Peacock. The show. They do episodes on, one's about the music, one's about the digital shorts, and those are pretty interesting. They talked to Justin Timberlake, and they're talking about the musicians involved in skits. And he's always been for doing it. He's really funny on there. In fact, they offered him a spot to be a regular, but he's Justin Timberlake. He has a lot more going on. But they had the scene where they were doing Beyonce's background dancers for single ladies, and it's Bobby Moynihan, Andy Samberg, and Justin Timberlake wearing the tights and the in the high heels, and like I said, like Beyonce really didn't want to do it, but she's like kind of getting to it, and then Timberlake shows up to her dressing room in a robe and pulls it open. She's like, "Oh my, I guess we're doing this." But just Saturday Night Live memories, like with the musical artist Justin Timberlake, when they do the Dick in a Box guys, when they did the
Mother Lovers.
the Mother Lovers, but when they were on the dating show, and it was like Bobby Moynihan was in one square, and then those two guys, Ant Samberg and Timberlake, another one, and then it was Steve Martin and Dan Aykroyd. Two wild and crazy guys were in the third, and they keep asking questions, and they just get more over the top with all their answers, and like Samberg and Remember, like, have songs for every answer that she asked him. He's like, "Did you guys get the questions beforehand?" That was one of my. Of course, he took the 4 guys and left Bobby Moynihan out on his own. But it was a good. I think it was the start of season like 2 years ago. I think it was the first episode of 2 years ago, season like 38. Any Saturday Night Live memories you guys have that are fun? Funny?
I think just some of the ones like are the weekend updates with either like Bill Hader as Stefan are some of my favorites, and then Bobby Moynihan as Drunk Uncle. I think those two just stick out to me right off the top of my head.
But Saturday Night Live hasn't been funny since 1977.
Well, yeah, I mean,
there's that. Yeah,
everybody says that every year, but they're still going for some reason. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's that bad. I don't know why NBC would let them keep filling that airtime.
Well, they're desperate for any type of entertainment now. I mean, everything's going to streaming. So, but no, I'm just being a dick.
I know.
But Saturday Night Live, I just, my favorite are the commercials, the fake commercials they do. And
Colon Blow
is one of the good ones.
Super Colon Blow.
I mean, Happy Fun Ball has got to be the best thing they ever did on that show, in my opinion.
Don't taunt Happy Fun Ball.
The Oops, I Crap My Pants.
It's like the Adobe, the little car made of clay.
Schlitz gay.
Whoa.
What was the one that was just very recent that I shared? I can't remember. It was just like a couple weeks ago. I'll look it up.
Saturday Night Live's doing so bad that like Nate Bargatze, I mean, his career has not actually taken off since he killed it on 2 episodes. I mean, he went from like a stand-up comedian with a relatively good following to like one of the hottest stand-up acts around right now. And his Washington's speech skits were absolutely phenomenal. Like it kind of made last season.
Does anything happen anymore on Saturday Night Live that because it's live, like somebody messes up or something? Like the last thing that I remember is Sinead O'Connor ripping up the picture of the Pope.
Yeah,
does anything like that happen?
There haven't been any big controversies recently. The biggest thing you have is just
so it could just not be live and it'd be essentially
it's live,
the same. But it would be essentially the same if it weren't.
But you get the people like breaking in the middle of the skit, like the Beavis and Butthead episode skit. When Heidi Gardner turned around and saw Mikey Day and the Butthead, and she just could not keep a straight face for like a few minutes.
Okay, that would be good.
Yeah. Those are good for the live. Crap, I just had one in my brain, but forgot what it was. Never mind.
It was really, really important.
So this isn't like a commercial, but it's like it's a commercial, but it's for it was the Medcast, where like it just recently aired where like they've turned going into the doctor into like a podcast. So your whole visit is a podcast episode.
That was funny.
It's a great idea.
Lick all of the icing off of the cupcake and then start eating
and
the
now
cupcake?
I'm eating the cupcake.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly how I did it.
Okay.
Do we have any news of the geek? Are there any articles that we want to...
I did see a few in our group that when I was looking for this.
Buffy. There's the Buffy remake or reboot.
I thought you were talking about my dog. It's like, how do you know my dog?
Jen is really, really excited if it's real. Like, apparently... Sarah Michelle Gellar was like, no, I'd never do a reboot. But then she saw, I think, Dexter is what Jen said.
Yep.
And Dexter, the reboot was good. And she's like, I think I'm good.
Yeah, she's in the new Dexter reboot. She's
she's in the new Dexter?
She's in it. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I think she maybe saw how well that was done and figured out that it could be done in a better way than she probably thought.
Well, I just know that this is Jen's favorite show of all time, and everything about it just gets her so excited. And she's excited about this, but she's hesitantly excited because she's not sure if it will really take place, and she's not sure if it will be as good.
Live up to it, yeah. I just pulled up one here. Have no idea if this has any kind of anything to do with our postal worker listeners, but a now former USPS worker stole over $100,000 worth of sports memorabilia. New Jersey U.S. Postal Service worker has confessed to stealing thousands of dollars worth of sports memorabilia, multiple cards of NBA legend Michael Jordan. Let's see. Okay, so I don't know. Shelby Dozier. That could be Doug, right?
I think
Is
that's
one of his nicknames. Yeah.
Shelby.
Shelby. Yeah. Pled guilty on Tuesday to theft of mail by a postal service employee, according to federal court records. He worked as a sorting clerk, but he, let's see. Shortly after he began working, several parcels intended for delivery to a consignment auction house went missing. The auction house specialized in selling traded cards, sports memorabilia that it received from customers around the world. Between September and December of 2022, he stole at least 10 parcels that were mailed to the auction house. Wow. So 10 of them, and it was over $100,000.
Auction houses, they're usually pretty expensive.
No, yeah, that's just, yeah. Oh, man. The Postal Service has just got it going on here. We got
I'm
another.
pretty sure that one's Doug.
Oh, this could be Doug. Yeah, postal worker caught racing a Mustang in USPS van, hitting 105 in a 60-mile-an-hour zone. There's no way those little trucks could get up to 105.
I'd be impressed to see that.
Well, but they're government vehicles, so it's very possible. I think that they could.
They're just not aerodynamic enough.
But they're lightweight.
Not if they're full of mail.
Well, they chuck it all out into the woods before they race.
Oh! I guess. I mean, I know they have nowadays more of a minivan looking truck or car. So if it's a newer one, I could see that maybe.
Well, we have, I just pulled something up. A new show coming to Netflix that we are pretty excited about. It is called Titan. The Titan submersible ill-fated journey to the ruins of the Titanic dominated the headlines in June 2023, but nothing can prepare you for Titan, coming to Netflix this summer. The new documentary examines OceanGate CEO Stockton Rush, his quest to become the next billionaire innovator, and the doomed underwater endeavor that forced the world to reconsider the price of ambition in the depths of the ocean.
I'm not sure that's what it did.
Well, that's what he's trying to say it did. So do you bolt them in?
Yeah, you bolt it shut from the outside.
What type of controller do you have?
I think it's like a Nintendo 64 controller.
Those are the worst controllers.
It's Mad Catz brand, though. It's not an official Nintendo controller. It's the off-brand by Mad Catz.
Did it come with a rumble pack?
Almost definitely rumble pack built in. I mean, and I think it also had the
slot for a memory card.
Well, they all did, but the button where you hold down the button, so then it's repetitive fire or whatnot, as opposed to having the button repeatedly.
Wasn't that like a switch though?
Or a switch, whatever it is. You turn that switch on and I mean, it made a lot of games so much easier.
I loved my NES Max controller that had the rapid fire buttons.
I remember using the pad when I was running.
The power pad.
The power pad to just run in place. And
Well, if you love that, then you should come see us at the Super Cincy Expo in May. We will be holding a track and field tournament on that pad.
really,
Yeah.
Yes. You can
I
come,
am an old man now.
you can come and you can challenge
Chad.
Champion Chad from
Yeah.
last year's.
Yeah, he's coming back to put his title on the line.
I feel I would get winded after 10 seconds.
Well,
I feel I get winded hitting the buttons after 10 seconds nowadays.
the way to do it is you actually don't pick up the front of your feet. You position your feet in front of the pad, and your heels hit, and you just take your heels up and down.
That seems like it would be more difficult.
It's not.
Oh, you're right. You are very right. Everybody at home, try that.
Go get your game pack out, your power pack out, then put on your track and field. It was either that or you got on your knees and used your hands and just...
Would it? I don't know how much power you need to put on.
There was
the...
no like fist and you would just...
Okay.
Yeah, I like to cheat on all the games I could find. Okay, do we have any box office bombs?
Not right now, I don't.
Okay. Do you know any of the...
Well, if you
Go ahead. We can
give me a second, I'll bring them up. You surprised me a little too quickly. Oh, you've got them here. Hand it over.
Yep.
All right, number one at the box office the week of January, or the weekend of January 31st to February 2nd. Coming in at number one, Dog Man made $36 million.
Again, that's one of those movies that I've seen the previews for on my games, but I've never heard the audio.
The audio makes it worse.
It did look pretty bad.
It looked bad, but then when you hear what they're actually saying, I haven't seen the movie, and I have zero desire to see the movie based on the ads for it.
But it's number one.
A January or was it a February release? No, it had to have been January.
January
because-
31st.
So that's Friday.
No, well, we'll see if Dog Man is up for an Oscar next year.
Okay, that's animated there.
Number two, Companion made $9.3 million. So there's a big drop off after Dog Man. Coming in at number three, Mufasa, the Lion King, made another $6.3 million.
And none of these are up for Oscars. This is usually when the Oscar movies are big at the theater, right?
It is, yeah. That's like I said. They'll release them as nationwide as opposed to just in limited in New York or L.A.
Do these numbers at all take into account streaming or anything like that?
Nope. This
Nope,
is
box
at the
office.
box office only, and it's only for this weekend of the box office
Okay.
and domestic. Number four, One of Them Days, another $5.8 million.
And of course, domestic. We don't care about other countries.
No, we
here.
don't.
Even though Jason sometimes likes to call it the box office and world report.
He stopped. He calls it domestic report now.
No, last week he called it the world report.
Oh, did he?
Yes.
Oh.
So that's another one that's not up for Oscars.
And at number five, Flight Risk with $5.4 million.
Brian, you helped that out.
Yes, he did.
You did that.
No, I didn't.
No, number three is Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Is that up for Oscars too?
It is not.
Oh, then none of them are up for Oscars in the top six.
I didn't really help Flight Risk. I used my movie credits.
They still go towards the line though. Wherever you get the whoever paid for those movie credits, that goes to the box office totals.
Well, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to contribute to that.
Well, Brian, you want to tell us what's coming out this week? Coming soon?
I can do that. Give me 1.5 seconds.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Looks like there's 8 or 7 coming out.
7 this week?
Yes. Plus they have the shorts, Oscar shorts, nominated shorts will be released as a.
I do always go to those, and those are always those are the highlight of the Oscar season for me. And I'll invite you guys when it's time, but it's always a highlight for me. There was that one year where all the live action shorts were about dead kids, which was a little little weird, but mostly they're good.
Let's see. Coming out this week, we have When I'm Ready. It's the end of the world. Seeking meaning and thrills in their last days alive, Rose and Michael embark on a cross-country road trip as a devastating asteroid threatens to wipe out life on Earth. Too soon. Let's see.
Sounds like On the Beach meets Don't Look Up.
I don't recognize anyone in the cast other than Derbil McDillett.
Derbil McDillett.
Sorry, Dylan McDermott. No, Dermot Mulroney. One of them. Let's see. Next up, we have Armand. Sorry, I just paused there because I was like used to me like Jason coming in with like a stupid accent or some stupid like
Armand.
Armand. I am Armand.
Yeah, there we go. Armand, a 6-year-old boy, is accused of crossing boundaries against his best friend at elementary school. What?
I'm not sure I like where this is going.
It's
Like a,
Is it exactly what you just described, or can we salvage anything from this?
let me see if I can dig a little deeper here.
it looks like a Dutch or a.
Well, the very first headline for the reviews is worst Norwegian movie ever.
It's directed by Halfdan Olmen Tondell.
What's it called?
Armand.
Armand.
Armand. I am Armand.
Let's see here. Next up this week we have Bring Them Down. An Irish shepherding family thrust into battle on several fronts. Internal strife, hostility within the family, rivalry with another farmer, paternalism, heritage, and the generational trauma cycle through the cultural prism of Ireland. Wow. That
There's
sounds like
a lot going on there.
That's going to be Cole Meany.
Barry Keoghan.
Yep.
Christopher Abbott.
Yeah.
That Barry Keoghan, he scares me.
Yeah.
I feel that if I knew him in real life, I would never be able to trust him. As nice as he is to me, and I know nothing about him, but he just seems unhinged, which is probably saying something good about his acting because a lot of the characters he plays are unhinged, but I could not trust him.
That's what I've liked so much about him being cast in the role he was in the Eternals. Because, you say, oh, it's Barry Keoghan, he is going to go off. He's going to be the crazy one. And then it turned out he wasn't, even though you're expecting him to be the bad guy in the betrayer of the group. But he turned out to not be the totally psychopathic one.
I do always mix him up with another actor, the Paul Dano.
Paul Dano, yeah.
Okay.
I those two are.
I can see
they're
that.
another one of those two that I always mix up.
They both are pretty good at coming off as crazy.
Like Paul Dano is the kind of the preachers.
There Will Be Blood. That's how I looked it up. I didn't know his name, but I looked up There Will Be Blood cast.
Again, he's a little bit different in The Girl Next Door.
Yeah.
What was he? Was he the main guy in The Girl Next Door?
No, he was one of the guys. It was Emil Hirsch was the main guy. He was one of his high school friends.
I did just I forget what movie it was, but I saw a movie with him recently where he just played a tiny part, and like all I could think of was the preacher and There Will Be Blood.
All right. Next up, we have Parthenope. Parthenope.
Is that like a reimagining of history where they're building the Parthenon and then somebody said nope?
So Parthenope is a woman who bears the name of her city. Is she a siren or a myth? That's the tagline.
So I was closer than I thought I would be with my stupid.
Paolo Sorrentino is the director, where young Parthenope is Celeste Dalla Porta, and the adult Parthenope is Stefania Sandrelli. But as Gary
Who's
Oldman,
first build.
the two,
Well, is the younger or the older?
I think
Younger.
the younger, and then Gary Oldman. So there's somebody in it.
Let's see. Next up, we have Heart Eyes.
Oh, that one looked like they're trying to make a new horror movie, Valentine's.
Yep. For the past several years, the Heart Eyes killer has wreaked havoc on Valentine's Day by stalking and murdering romantic couples. This Valentine's Day, no couple is safe.
Jordana Brewster, Olivia Holt, Devon Sawa. Oh, Devon Sawa sighting. Man. Mason Gooding. Yeah. Josh Rubin directed. Writers Philip Murphy, Christopher Landon, and others.
All right. Next up, we have Love Hurts.
Love hurts.
A realtor is pulled back into the life he left behind after his former partner in crime resurfaces with an ominous message. With his crime lord brother also on his trail, he must confront his past and the history he never fully buried.
This is Ki Hoi Kwan.
He's in Squid Game, right?
No, Short Round.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
So everything, everywhere, all at once.
Yep.
Yep.
Ariana DeBose, Mustafa Shakir, Leotip Denzel Wu.
Oh, I do remember seeing the trailer for this now.
Sean Astin's in it. That's all the guys I really recognized. Directed by Jonathan Eusebio.
Samwise?
Yeah.
Nice. Next up, we have I'm Still Here.
Here, this is the Oscar one. This is
Oscar one.
Released 2024. Now being released here. It's foreign film.
It's the Brazil one. I think it's up for 2.
It's three nominations.
3 nominations.
What does that say?
It's up for Best International.
Performance by an actress in a leading role and Best Motion Picture of the Year.
A mother.
It's up for Best Picture.
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
Oh.
Yeah. A mother is forced to reinvent herself when her family's life is shattered by an act of arbitrary violence during the tightening grip of a military dictatorship in Brazil in 1971.
So Jeff will be watching this relatively soon, probably.
I will. I got like 2 weeks, don't I?
Yep.
2.5.
That is it for this week, other than the Oscar-nominated short films, like you said.
I'm really impressed that no one here got annoyed at the movies that are coming out and went, ugh.
Oh, come on. Fine, one more.
Okay, now I feel better. Jeff, do we have any top 5 music?
Boy, oh boy, weren't they great. That's the Lobotomized Monkey. And now, the top 5.
This week we have top 5 kids movies that definitely aren't kids movies. So we can start with we're at his game room. We can start with Jeff.
Okay. Are you talking about me, Jeff?
Yes, because this is your game room.
I have. Well, yeah, but you. And
I don't call you Scab like Jason does.
But in the context of the show, it may be
A little confusing.
Yeah. But my number 5 is Spirited Away. It's a cartoon.
It was up for. Did it win a best animated film back in?
I don't
when it came.
think so, but it may have.
It was definitely nominated.
But it's creepy. There's a lot of not so much death, but it's more like eternal damnation type of thing, or trapped somewhere in your life and afterlife forever, and it just doesn't seem. Did it win?
It won Best Animated Feature.
Okay.
2001.
And I'm not saying it didn't deserve it, but
2003.
2003?
For, I guess, a 2002 release movie. I don't remember.
Well, I'm just saying it's doesn't feel like a kid's movie, even though it marketed as a kid's movie. It's a Studio Ghibli or Ghibli.
It's Studio Ghibli, Hayao Miyazaki.
That's the problem. Is a lot of people assume animated meant children, and even people in the business. Oh, we got an animated movie. How are we going to market this to children?
I feel that a lot of my top 5 has a lot to do with that.
Yep.
But your number 5, Jim.
My number 5, I'm going to go along similar thing. I'm going to go Coraline.
That's my
number 4.
that's my honorable mention. Those buttons.
Those button eyes were just kind of creepy.
And I hate buttons to begin with. If you notice, you hardly ever see me wearing a button-up shirt because I hate buttons.
Brian, what is your number 5?
My number 5 is going to be Ted.
It's a teddy bear. It's going to be for kids.
And I'm sure that if I were working in a movie theater at that time, then a mom saw a preview just out of the corner of her eye with a teddy bear. Going to take the kid to it, but it's definitely not a kid's movie.
I couldn't imagine. That's been, 13 years ago that came out?
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine if that came out today.
Was it with Ted 2? Was that the Liam Neeson cameo?
Yeah.
When he's buying the tricks?
Yeah. Yeah.
So are these just for children? Well, they advertise tricks are for kids, but I think anybody can get them. So if you're saying that I can take these with me right now.
They're advertised for kids, but there's no requirement.
What's your number 5 there, Jeff?
My number 5 is Watership Down.
Yeah?
That's my number 3.
That is not a kid's story. But I know that one was marketed towards kids.
It was, I think it was an Easter movie. It was like,
did that actually come out at Easter time?
Yeah, I think it was marketed as an Easter movie for kids.
Oh, no. That's like saying Lord of the Flies is an Easter movie.
And what's your number 4?
My number 4 was Coraline.
Okay. Brian, your number 4?
My number 4, I'm going to go with The Corpse Bride.
Okay, yeah.
It didn't stick with me, but I can see how that someone might think that that's a kid's movie.
Or just like kids would want, like...
It's animated.
Yeah, so immediately off the cuff, it's like, oh, but it's really not.
My number 4 is Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
That's my number 4.
That was my number 3.
That was only an honorable mention for me.
It's the juice.
Yeah, the dipping them in it and killing the tunes.
It still gives me nightmares.
Yeah, especially considering like the story it's based on is even worse because it was who killed Roger Rabbit. You know? There was no framing; it was they actually killed him, and like his ghost remnant had like 24 hours to solve his own murder.
Okay, what's your number 3? Because that was your number 4.
My number 4 was Who Framed Roger Rabbit. My number 3 is Watership Down.
Okay. My number 3, I know it is still for kids, but I'm going to go with the Lego Movie. There is so much to get as an adult
because of the glue,
the Craggle.
The Craggle.
Like, Jeff, when you saw that in the theater?
When you're the only grown man alone in a theater with mothers and children, you kind of feel in the wrong spot.
Brian, your number 3 was?
My number 3 was Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Okay.
Yeah, you took everybody's right in that round. Nobody got to talk for you.
Way to go, Jim. Yes. My number 3 is Barbie. Oh,
That was my number 1.
I didn't mean to steal your number 1.
Put it on the board.
That's okay.
Then I'll just move right along to my number 2, which I'll probably steal someone else's. I don't know. Gremlins.
Not mine. Not even an honorable mention.
I felt as a kid that was really, look at this cute little blah, blah, we make toys for it. And this is a horror movie, people.
Yeah, that's a good one. I didn't have it on my list.
My number 2, I'm going to go with the Mighty Ducks. Yes, it technically probably still could be considered a kid's movie, but I feel like a lot of the storylines are more adult-centered. Maybe not. Just maybe it's just the way that I watch them now as an adult versus when I was a kid, and I didn't understand it. Maybe, but yeah.
Okay. My number 2, I'm going to go with the first 15 minutes of the movie Up. Because you can forget about the entire rest of the story just watching that intro, and it just, I mean, if you don't cry during that, there's something wrong with you. If that was a short, it may be the best short ever.
Well, that would have been like the year where all the kids died in the shorts.
No, you should probably just watch that and then turn off the movie before the actual opening credits. And
that
just makes
first scene is
perfect short.
Jen had never seen Up, so I said, just watch the beginning here and it'll be sad. It's not that sad.
Oh, what?
Well,
did she watch the same thing you did?
No, I built it up a lot, so I feel that
her expectations were.
So I think I ruined the first 15 minutes of Up for her somehow.
I cry still when I watch it.
Number 2 to me?
Yep.
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Lots of murders. So many murders.
And is Grandpa Joe, is he the worst character of all time in movies? I mean, they are destitute poor, and he can't, and he's laying in bed with 3 other old people and can't get out to do anything. But, we're going to the chocolate factory. Ooh, I'm ready to go.
And he dances.
I know.
Now, you're referring to Charlie in the Chocolate Factory or Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory?
The one with Gene Wilder.
That's Willy Wonka.
Willy Wonka.
Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
I mean, it was one of the best lines from Ted Lasso when he mentions about all the horrible killing, and they're like, "That's a sweet kid's shit." No, those children are dead.
And your number 1?
Return to Oz. I just watched it recently, and it is still as absolutely horrifying as ever. I used to have nightmares of when they would walk through that room, and if they touched anything, they'd turn into one of the objects. And there's tons more here too. But yeah, the Return to Oz is. There's no reason that any kid should ever watch that, and I don't think my parents knew when they had me watch that how much that would. Maybe that's what made me go into the whole ghost thing, and maybe I'm just searching for something more terrifying than this movie, and I haven't yet found it.
Yeah, that is terrifying. My number one, I hobied it. It is The Fantastic Mr. Fox and Isle of Dogs.
I still get choked up sometimes in the Isle of Dogs when the dog goes to the boy and he says, I forget exactly the quote, but if he's out there, we will find your dog.
Yeah, both, again, they're animated, but the themes are nowhere near children's themes. And again, they're Wes Anderson films, and I'm a big Wes Anderson fan. I know that's some people hate his stuff, but not me.
He's a storyteller.
Yes,
like they were back with the Roald Dahl. Like he did a bunch of. Is that how you pronounce it?
Roald Dahl.
Yeah.
But just this last year, he did all those movies that were based on his shorts. And
well, Fantastic Mr. Fox was Roald Dahl.
Was it?
Oh, yeah, I think it might have been. Yeah. Yep.
But so was Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
And Matilda. Oh, wait.
Coraline?
I don't think
Coraline was written by, well, we can't talk about him anymore.
Yeah, no, he got canceled, but we can still enjoy his stories.
They just won't be made into movies anymore or sequel or shows. So I won't get the Nancy Boys show that was supposed to be made.
I didn't know Donald Trump wrote Coraline.
Okay, he's not canceled. He's celebrated.
He's not canceled. He's president. And Brian, you're
Down
number
the hall.
one.
My number one was Barbie. Or Barbenheimer.
Boy, that second half of that movie, that was really not kid-friendly.
Oh, yeah, and Brian, I think we're not allowed to go down the hall anymore. We relied on a bunch of Canadian imports or whatever, so that studio is now shut down for the time being.
Damn it. Go upstairs.
But my number one, I picked Lord of the Rings, the Ralph Bakshi animated ones.
I loved those.
Oh, no. Mainly I picked them because they were god-awful boring and children shouldn't want to sit through them.
Frodo of the Nine Fingers and the Ring of Doom. Why does he have 9 fingers?
I had to turn them off when I was a
Ring
child.
of
They were
Doom?
so fucking boring for a child, I thought.
Is that the one where there's a whip? There's a whip.
Yes.
I remember those
The songs.
songs. Are...
Blake would be disappointed in you, Jeff.
Well, Blake could be wrong. Maybe as an adult, Blake can like them, but it's not for children because it's so fucking boring.
I went out and I bought them on DVD. So I've watched them recently.
It's the Lord of the Rings isn't streaming it. The Hobbit's streaming the animated one, but the Lord of the Rings isn't streaming anymore.
Okay.
No, it's not.
The Hobbit one was all right. I watched that as a child, but that was a story written for children. Lord of the Rings was more written for adults, and the animated movie was no.
Well, I think The Hobbit was written for a child for the first 180 pages. And it kind of developed a lot from there. But the entire start of it was, this is...
Although I still think it was the worst riddle competition ever. What's in my pocket? Stupidest riddle ever. You shouldn't have been able to win on that.
I concur.
You're not allowed.
I always thought that, but nobody. When I was watching it, nobody was there for. Why is this a riddle? This isn't a riddle. That's unfair. There's no way that you could. It's a contest. You can't do that.
Although, knowing Gollum was looking for the ring, he probably should have guessed the ring. But I'm going to throw this out for the same reason. I got an honorable mention here. For the same reason as it's a god-awful, boring piece of shit that no one should want to watch. My honorable mention was Spirit, Stallion of the Cimarron. Like, it's for children, but children don't want to watch that. That was boring and dumb.
Spirit of the Cinnabon.
My honorable mention, I put The Never-Ending Story.
The Never-Ending Story.
Because of the Swamps of Sadness. That still doesn't seem like a kid's...
Yeah, isn't the guy from The Simpsons suing the makers of that for false advertising or mislabeling?
But it's a great theme song. Great song.
By Lamal.
The Never-Ending Story.
From Kaja Gugu.
Da, 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 da. I still remember that. That's those things. They're just these kids' movies. They're just ingrained.
Well, it got with that song got picked up big time with
The Stranger
Things.
Stranger Things sang that. It was the love song between Dustin and I forgot his girlfriend's name.
I was watching.
Sing it, Dustin. Sing it.
I was watching an episode of American Dad last night, and he was. Like his Asian in-laws come over and they have a bunch of ducks hanging up, and he's like, let's see, duck, goose. And he's like, whoa, that's ingrained deep in my psyche. Like realizing right away that there's no way that he's played duck, goose in 40 years, and yet that's the first thing that comes to mind if you say duck more than twice in a row.
Well, yeah, you do.
Anybody else have honorable mentions?
I was like some kind of the Wallace and Gromit things. I think they're fun as adults to watch, but I don't know if they're.
For a second there, I thought you were going to say The Wall. I'm like, yes, you're right. That's not a child's movie.
Yeah, The Wall. That's not made for children. That was.
I think there were a couple on Facebook.
Yes, I pulled them up here.
And I had Labyrinth as an honorable mention.
Should we start with Jen Morris?
Okay.
Number 5, The Secret of Nim. And the Rats of Nim.
I don't remember that well enough. I haven't seen it since I was a kid. I don't...
Yeah,
was
I think
it like a Fraggle Rock type of animation, or was it actually...
No, it was animated cartoon. You're getting it confused with
Dark Crystal.
Dark Crystal.
Which is going to be on people's lists.
Jen has number 4, The Never-Ending Story.
Oh, I didn't mean to steal that from her.
Number 3, All Dogs Go to Heaven. It's sad. Number 2, Watership Down. I have a memory of being at some sort of family gathering, an adult putting on the cute movie about bunnies to keep me occupied and being completely traumatized. I am 40 years old and that movie still haunts my dreams. And at number 1, Milo and Otis. I loved the movie as a kid. It was my absolute favorite, a cherished childhood memory. And honestly, the movie would probably be fine for kids as long as they watch it with anyone other than Jeff Morris. I, however, watched it with Jeff Morris. I wanted to share that with him. And because he apparently likes destroying cherished childhood memories, the movie is now another one that haunts my dreams. Thanks, Jeff. What'd you do?
Well, there's a scene, I don't remember which one was the cat, but one of them was a cat, and the cat jumps off this big cliff. And there's this forever scene where it's falling off the cliff, and then it hits the water and it swims to shore.
Yeah?
Apparently, they threw probably 50 cats off the cliff, and all of them died.
Oh, but cats always land on their feet.
Well, they threw them into a rocky ocean, into the tide or whatever.
They actually threw cats off of a cliff?
Oh, yeah. They killed so many animals.
Well,
all I did was ask, well, how did they get that shot of the cat falling forever off of the cliff? And apparently they just filmed it as they threw cats off the cliff. So, yeah, not a children's.
That's not a movie for anyone. Ever.
Yeah, that's disturbing.
Well, I didn't look up the details. I just said, how did they get the shot? And Jen looked up the details, and that's what ruined it for her when she found out.
So PETA was not a big supporter of that film.
No, I think they probably made a lot of rule changes in the movie. I think the American Humane Society logo pretty much had to be on every movie that had animals in it.
The 80s were a lawless wasteland.
Somebody write that down.
I am.
Steve from Everything I Learned from Movies. Number 5, The Secret of NIMH, or really any Don Bluth movie.
What's another example of...
What else did Don Bluth do? Did he do American Tail?
American Tail.
What the Dragon's Lair?
Dragon's Lair.
The video game. His studio animated that.
Remember how good those graphics used to look?
Yeah, well, it's because they weren't. they were just scenes shown. Number 4, Watership Down. Number 3, Brave Little Toaster with a clown face emoji after it. Number 2, Return to Oz. Number 1, Dumbo. Honorable mention, not a movie, but Captain Power and the Soldiers of the Future. Power on Con, March 28th to March 30th in Colorado Springs. We'll see you there. And we got some from Nick Mayer. He says 5, Jumanji.
Okay, I can see that.
That just wasn't a good movie. So. Number 4, Hobied It, Brave Little Toaster, and Fern Gully.
I'm not sure I've ever seen Brave Little Toaster, but it's come up twice now.
I think it's about a little toaster that gets killed and used for spare pieces. I don't know. I haven't seen it. Number 3, The Wizard of Oz. Number 2, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. And number 1, Homeward Bound. Honorable mention, The Muppet Movie.
The Muppet Movie. Or The Great Muppet Caper. Oh. How would you be paying? Cash, charge, or sneak out in the middle of the night?
Sneak out in the middle of the night.
Most people take that one. So that was our top 5.
Yeah, that's it for the listener feedback or listener choices.
Okay, does anybody have any other honorable mentions?
I had Where the Wild Things Are.
With the book is definitely for children.
The Spike Jones one there's potential murders going on.
Nice.
Like, they don't actually murder, but they're like, "Oh, I'm going to kill you," and he's like, "No, I'm king."
Oh,
but you were under the impression that they were actually going to kill him.
Well, they are monsters.
Well, yeah,
that's what monsters do.
And monsters are scary, not kids friendly.
So, like, Little Monsters wasn't on anybody's list?
It was not.
It wasn't a good movie either. Oh, do we have a Mad Libs there?
We do.
Ooh.
I need a pen or pencil. Thank you. All right, we are doing Spider-Man.
Spider-Man does whatever a spider can. Spins the web and size. Catches thieves, justifies again. Here comes Spider-Man.
Jeff, give me a noun, please.
We will say boogers. Or just booger. Boogers would be plural.
Yes. Jeff, give me a plural noun.
Buggers.
Really?
Yeah. How am I going to think of something else after you?
Jim, give me a color.
You can't think of anything but green or puce.
Pink. Booger green.
Jeff, give me an adjective.
Oozy.
Crusty.
Jeff, give me a type of food.
Boogers.
Boogers.
It was like that Family Feud. When they asked the guy, and he said turkey for every answer. And the fifth question,
It worked. It was the top answer.
the fifth one was like a lunch meat for your, like a lunch meat you like for a sandwich.
You could tell that he knew that he was doing it, but he couldn't stop himself as he was going further.
Turkey. The turkey. And the last one was like lunch meat. Turkey.
It'd been funny if he the last one. He's like ham.
Jim, give me a male first name.
Robert.
There's a booger in Goonies, right?
No,
it's,
he Booger is in
Revenge of the
Revenge of the
Nerds.
Nerds, played by Curtis Armstrong.
Booger.
Missed opportunity.
Jeff, give me an adjective.
Oh, another adjective. Lonely.
Jeff, give me a noun.
Choir.
Kleenex.
Jim, give me a plural noun.
Boats.
And hose. Boats and hose. Boats and hose.
I'm on a boat.
Jeff, give me a vehicle.
Oh, and Jim just used boats. We will do tricycle.
Jeff, give me a verb.
Love.
It said on this heart.
Jim, give me a noun.
Heart. Candy heart.
Ooh.
Conversation heart.
Are you just saying what you see?
I love lamp.
Sorry, I'm looking at this and I
Think we're in trouble?
yeah, because there was like a whole nother part to this, and there never is in any of the other Mad Libs.
Uh-oh.
Do not look at the story. Fill in the blanks.
It's
then,
a special Mad Libs that you need to know the backstory to?
so it wanted to get answers ahead, and then you fill in the blank for the answers that you gave.
Well, that's usually how Mad Libs works, right?
Yeah, but this is like I don't know. Fill in the blanks on this page, then using the words you have selected, fill in the blank. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean,
But-
I think that's just if you're doing it alone, so you don't see ahead of time. If you're reading it to us, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Anyway, this one is,
Oh, we're over. Okay.
yeah, we're all done. Spidey senses. How well do you know your web slinger?
Oh, no.
Take this quiz and see. What is the name of the famous storyline where the booger created a bunch of boogers of Spider-Man?
Booger clone.
Yeah, so yeah, there are like each one of these questions have answers underneath them, and it's yeah, I don't exactly understand what they wanted here, so we're just gonna read what we wrote. And
Yep.
number 2 in this quiz, Spidey's pink costume was an oozy alien that wanted to eat people like they were boogers.
Little booger heavy.
Little bit. Let's see here. Number 3. Before Peter's Uncle Robert passed away, he gave him a lonely piece of choir. With great boats comes what?
Great hose.
Yes.
Good answer.
And then lastly, Spider-Man once had a tricycle that could love up a heart. What did he call it?
Hose.
Miss Daisy.
Booger wheel. Let me make sure all these aren't like this, because this is dumb.
Enjoy the silence as we're flipping through the rest of the Mad Libs to see if.
Yeah, no, like they're all not like that, so that's cool. So the next Spider one won't be so weird, I guess. I mean, we could do another one.
All right, why not?
All right, Jeff, give me a city.
Pittsburgh.
Booger.
Same difference.
Jeff, give me an adjective.
Shitty.
Jim, give me a noun.
Can opener. I was ready.
Jeff, give me an occupation.
Sous chef.
Jeff, give me an adjective.
Funny.
Jim, give me a verb.
Dance.
Jeff, give me an exclamation.
Yowza.
Jeff, give me a noun.
Crucifixion cross.
We usually just call them crucifixes.
Crucifix would be.
Jim, give me an adjective.
That doesn't require that there be a Jesus on it.
I think a crucifix usually requires a Jesus.
But he just wants the cross without Jesus.
You want the cross without Jesus?
Yeah, I don't want the Jesus.
A crucifix sans Jesus.
I mean, I guess technically any cross used to crucify people is a crucifixion.
Would I have a verb?
Crucifix.
Yes. Adjective.
Or adjective. Okay, I will go yellow.
You were all yellow.
Jeff, give me a verb.
Hunt.
Jeff, give me an animal.
Goose.
They fucked.
Stop it.
Not duck before your goose.
Jeff, give me a noun.
Jim.
Jim.
Banana.
Banana.
Jeff, give me a silly word.
Oh, man. I get silly words and exclamations. Fiddle faddle. With a hyphen.
That was indeed the silliest of words.
Jeff, give me a color.
Green.
Jim, give me a noun.
Tire.
Population tire.
All right, Jeff, give me a noun.
Sanitarium.
Sanitarium. Boom, boom.
All right.
Leave me be.
This is an op-ed written by J. Jonah Jameson titled "No More Wall Crawlers." I love Pittsburgh. I think it's the most shitty place on the planet. That's why I believe we need to get rid of Spider-Man. That can opener thinks he's the sous chef of New York. Except Spider-Man really attracts funny villains who dance the city because of him. Yowza! I think I speak for the people when I say I'm sick of it. That crucifix cross sans Jesus needs to be stopped. Some people thinks he's a yellow hero, but not me. Sure, he might hunt people sometimes or save a goose caught in a banana every now and again. But so what? Big fiddle faddle. Spider-Man is nothing but a green tire, and we have to get rid of him. If you see him on the street, throw a sanitarium at him and say it's from me, J. Jonah Jameson.
That describes Pittsburgh to a T.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, that was better.
Okay, do we have any bad idea of the week? Did any of our favorite influencers do anything stupid and die this week?
We have favorite influencers.
The ones that die.
I don't. Maybe the person that stabbed themselves in the back 20 times by committed suicide.
The woman who, this was in 2000. Yeah, stabbing herself in the back 20 times to commit suicide.
It was the.
Or to rule somebody's death a suicide who was stabbed in the back 20 times.
I mean, that sounds like a bad idea. I don't know.
Yeah, we had a case. We saw a case that was reopened because well, it wasn't reopened. The former medical examiner came out and said, "Yeah, I think I got that one wrong."
Number 87.
And then we have titles for the show. I unfortunately forgot what the 80s were a blank wasteland when I was typing out.
Lawless
wasteland. Okay. Because when I was typing out, somebody said something else and my brain went blank. Okay. What do you have, Jeff?
Me, Jeff, or him, Jeff?
Either.
The first 15 minutes of the movie Up. I hate buttons. What Canadians call Smarties. Einstein's caviar. Fortuitous turnip harvest. And the first time anyone has ever come to Jason's defense.
That's a pretty good one.
I have the worst Norwegian episode ever. Bryan, Ohio.
Yep.
With great boats come great hoes.
I had that.
And that describes Pittsburgh to a T.
I don't need any more geography. Paulie needed a friend. I just have to suck on it. The 80s were a lawless wasteland. Booger clone. Eat people like they are boogers. From great boats comes great hose. With a hyphen. And crucifix, cross, sans Jesus.
I did not write anything down, but just looking at this, I think a goose caught in a banana.
Goose caught in a banana.
I kind of like with great boats come great hoes, or the crucifix cross the hands Jesus, or whatever he had written.
Would Jason allow us to do that one?
He will have to go in and change it if it doesn't.
That was the first time somebody came to Jason's defense.
Yeah, that was the one that I was just thinking of. I think that's a good one.
That feels like I have to come to Jason's defense, though.
Why?
No, you didn't.
That was Pam.
Pam did.
Yeah, Sister Pam.
And she is convalescing.
What, to make Pam feel better, we'll name it after something she did?
Yep.
That works for me.
All right, so now I got to write that down because I'll forget. The first time someone ever came to Jason's defense?
Yep.
All right, let me write that down while someone heads us out of this episode.
Oh, no, I didn't know how to do that. I took the microphone and I didn't know how to do that.
Yeah. Thank you for listening. We will be back next week. We should be back in the studio.
If Jason lets us back in there, if he's not too angry with us.
I will still be in the studio, regardless, I think. But yeah.
Roger says goodbye.
Goodbye. Bye.
From Walking Dead to Talking Heads, from comic books to TV sets, there's a history. Not so bad, there's the history. It's the history of bad, so bad. The history of bad, it's bad. History of bad ideas. Podcast.
You've been listening to Hobie.